Hello, darlings. Here we are to talk about this new moon coming up tomorrow in Taurus. So interesting because tropical astrology is saying that this new moon is in Taurus as well, which would mean that it could be for them exactly where our Venus is. But we're going to look into this. I have done 2 videos since I last spoke to you. One just about Pluto going retrogrades, and another one, my 2-week rundown that I did on Monday. And we went from tomorrow's new moon to the full moon on the 31st of May. And of course, the first quarter moon that is coming up on the 23rd. So we're mainly going to be focusing today on this new moon, and we're going to be looking at what's been going on this week, some news as well. So I think the most important thing that's just happened is that there has been a speech from the king, and I have not seen anything about it, but we're going to look at that together. And I have got, it happened on the 13th of May. So 13 is always, this is what it's all about, the 5-pointed star, the maypole, and the 13th Caniel. So that happened as Mercury was still in Aries and the sun is still in Aries. So that happened right on Algol. They are conjunct Uranus, and we have got Mars, the ruler of Aries, right in the V for victory. And we also have the moon that moved into Pisces from the 12th. I'm not, yeah, the 11th, the moon was definitely in Aquarius. So we've got the moon from the 12th, 13th, 14th. So yesterday, the moon was conjunct Mars, and tomorrow the moon enters Aries. So I just posted this as well. We actually have at the moment 33 degrees apart between Jack and Rose, Jupiter and Venus. And Venus is, of course, right on the bullseye. So it's saying from May the 10th to June the 9th, we've got a 33-degree distance, which is the spine, which is the maypole, and then on the 13th. So this is me doing posts. I'll take you to see all that afterwards, but we're just going to focus right now on this King's speech. So we've got Venus right in between the horns. So she has been going over the bullseye, so the breast of Venus. So we've had since the death of David's Wilcock, Venus has been going through Uranus. So there was huge news that I brought to you with my video. I think both are open to the public, so please go and see retrograde of Pluto and my 2-week rundown, because there's so much information that I can't go back and get all the time, but we're going to do our best today. So right now, 15th and for the King's speech. So let's just have a look at this King's speech. So the 13th of May, King Charles. So Charles is Charles Rex, which is CR. We just had Ross Cantor, CR. So this is Jack and Rose. Ross Cantor won with Lord Gruffalo. Lord Gruffalo is Liberty and Glory, but we've got Ross Cantor and Lord Gruffalo both. So we've got, she's the red-headed girl. She's just won Paddington Badminton. So it's your PB. She has just won 3 times in a row on the same horse, which has never happened before. That's your 5-star event, the cross country. I'll be taking you to see. She is the little redhead, and they made a very big point of showing that she was pregnant which is also unheard of. So she was pregnant, she's had a baby, so she was pregnant at last year's badminton, fertility, and this year she has had the baby, but they did make a big point of her child coming to see her. So she is the mother, and her mother that was there, and I have showed you before, but the mother is really the spitting image with the same bob haircut as Giselle, the French woman that was raped by all those men, drugged. And Giselle is G is L. So liberty and glory. G is L because G is the 7th letter. So that's your G7, but G is L. So G is 7. L is 7, that's 77, the 2 sevens that make the capstone. And Lord Gruffalo, L is 12, 2 and 1 is 3, and Gruffalo is the 7th, so that's 37. And on Monday, when I did the rundown, so just when the news came out, so she won badminton, and we were on the 73rd day of the Iraq war. So 37 and 73 is L. It is the Vesica Pisces. It is the passage that we're going through. So 3773 backwards is L, and this is their way of creating Saturn, because Saturn is the true ruler of Mercury, Venus, with Mercury and Venus of the air and earth central green line pillar. Okay, so I'll be showing you again, as I always show you, but the mutable and the cardinal signs are merging, which means that Cancer will merge with Gemini, the Moon and Mercury, and there will be no more Sun, because the Sun will be crucified on the fixed cross. All the fixed signs will be crucified, and Jupiter will take the top with Capricorn. Jupiter in Sagittarius and Saturn in Capricorn, which puts Jupiter, the cock. The symbol of Jupiter is the cock. The cock cannot fly. This is the golden egg. And this is what I go in a lot in my video about Pluto, that you really need to go and see. So he comes along and makes a speech at the House of Lords on the 13th of May, just as the Sun and Mercury are conjunct. So Mercury is fully visible. They're both in Aries. So the Sun is exalted in Aries, and Mercury is taking on all this fire. So we've got this yellow, we've got the orange cat, we've got the cat Mercury soaking up the Sun's power as Mars is still in water, in the V for victory, ruled by Jupiter, as Jupiter is in the home of Mercury on Sirius. He's still on conjunct Sirius, but he's getting closer and closer to the Lord of the Rings before he enters into the home of the Moon. And this is basically what he needs. He wants to take the Moon, the lunar energy, and make that orange cat, the orange Garfield, the orange cat, the Cheshire cat, the ginger cats. So let's have a look at this speech. So my lords and members, so we've got LM 13 and 12 of the House of Commons. An increasingly dangerous and volatile world threatens the United Kingdom with a conflict in the Middle East, only the most recent example. Every element of the nation's energy, defense, and economic security will be tested. Okay. Okay, so I was just having a look through. So they're bringing in digital ID. It's digital ID. This whole year, we've had the uprise of ChatGPT, the ginger cat, Puss in Boots that makes his master rich. And we have had, this is what Jupiter and Gemini is all about. Gemini is communication, and we are having this digital takeover, the orange cat. The orange cats So yeah, a clear water bill, railway, so giving children, there's a lot talking about children, which is this energy of Mercury as well, digital access to service bills, education bills. So Bill, Bill, the old Billy Goats. This is Jupiter merging with Capricorn, the government, the empire merging with the governments. So just a reminder, as always, this is the natural merging, the sun and the moon, Saturn and Saturn above, and Mars and Venus. So we've got the bee on the equinox. This is the bee, black and yellow, but they are putting the fleur de lis, the bee, they're putting Jupiter at the top, that is the cock, and they've got the children, Mercury, with the mother, Cancer, but they've got Mercury air, and Jupiter fire on that maypole. And there is your Ukraine, yellow and blue. What does yellow and blue make? It's what I showed you last time. Prince William on the fronts of Tatler, all in yellow and blue. This is the green. That makes the green man. So they've got Mars ruling the ascendant when it should be Venus, the mother, and this is the Aleph Tav. This is the true closure of the bee, the yellow and the black. This is Will I Am. This is Aries and Taurus, yellow and black. Okay, but they've got William here in yellow and blue with Jupiter and Mars. So they've got Aries on the outside, and they've got Pisces blue in the inside here, and over here they are merging male Libra, male Venus with the Virgo girl, Mercury again, and so that is Venus ruling red Libra air, masculine. So they've actually got, when you look at this closure on this side, we've got masculine Sagittarius, Aries, Gemini, and Libra on the outside color of that whole wheel. And there we have, there's no more sun. So they're bringing up Merlin, Mars and Jupiter, yellow and black. And this is the Silver Gates. Okay, so we've got this new moon in Taurus. We've got Trump all in China. So this is the new moon. This is the China. This is here, Taurus. So back to this speech. My government will seek to reinforce the long-term energy, defense, and economic security of the... Yeah, here we go. So basically, he is bringing in all this right now, and then William will step in as the king. Next year, the United Kingdom will take on the G20 presidency and host the G20 summit to drive global growth and reinforce global stability. Okay, that was it. Right, so that was published on the 13th of May, and that is what is the most important about this. And there is the chart for the 13th of May. Uranus, Mercury and the Sun, right on Algol, Sun and Mercury in Aries. So that is the true bee, yellow fire, black earth. So they're making that speech and they're doing all that on the 13th in the cranial. This is the passage from the throat, Taurus, onto the head, as we've got the capstone and we've got the moon, Neptune and Saturn in Pisces in the home of Jupiter, making a sextile to Pluto in Capricorn. So this is feminine energy. The only, Mars is still in Pisces in the V for victory. We've got all the planets in feminine signs, just Jupiter in the home of Mercury, and he's not even, this is completely hermaphrodite. This is little Gemini. He's Peter Pan. He's not sex. This is sexless. and Jupiter is in this pan, in the Peter Pan. There's just North Node in Aquarius. He's making a square to North Node, taking that true Giza, as we've got the Gaza Taurus here, using, this is Venus, using the true placement of Venus in the feminine, in the mother. And this is about to become Merlin. We're going to have a finger of God from the new moon coming up. So let's just look at that May full moon, new moon, 16th of May. And there we have the finger of God that will appear for tomorrow, pointing to the South Node on Regulus in Leo. The lion, the sun rules Leo, but there will be no more Leo in the closure. There's no more Leo in the closure. There's just Mercury and the moon, and Jupiter will take this solar energy, the empire merging with the governments, and it should be this true Indian, South America, North America energy over here. When we've got, so this is why he's talking about the government. He's talking as the empire is taking over the role of that matriarchal, the bill, Saturn, the bill, the old bill. You've got to pay your bill to open the gates. And here comes digital everything, digital ID, as Mars is in Pisces, in the monsters of the id, with the moon, with that last waning crescent, with Saturn and Neptune. And the moon is moving through the unconscious collective, the monsters of the ID, and Sun and Mercury is making this orange cat. And that is why I just wanted to, I saw on the front page of the newspapers today, Chien et chat, les dépenses explosent. So they're showing you dogs and cats. That's the sun and the moon. There's no more dog. We've got Jupiter on Sirius, and we've got the ginger cat. We've got the ginger cat. We've got Mercury and the moon, as we've got Mercury conjunct to the sun. Mercury conjunct to the sun, and they're showing you lunar female with the ginger cat today. So we've got him in China. We've got almost Taiwan au cœur de discussion. So Donald Trump poursuit sa visite en Chine. So he's in China, obviously, because that is where Taurus, you've got Aries and Taurus and Gemini, it's all here over China, right over China. And this is where the new moon is. So this is the empire's home. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, the empire, Asia, and Jupiter rules Europe. And we've got Trump in China. Okay, so back to this chart. So this 16th of May, you know, this is ruled by Venus. This is all about worth, value. This is all the feminine energy. So we've got Venus, the ruler of Taurus. We've got Mercury, the ruler of Gemini. Mars, the ruler of Aries. Mars is still in Pisces, but he's conjunct to Chiron, to Pan in Aries. So it looks like Mars is in Aries there, but Mars is still going to be in Pisces for this new moon tomorrow. He will be just coming out of the V for Victory. So this is the energy for the next month. That new moon tomorrow is going to be right on the Seven Sisters. We've got Mercury, Uranus, the sun and the moon. This is really making the ginger cats, the new ID, the new digital movement taking over the mother. This is the new mother in a way. This is, you know, the moon is exalted in Taurus. and Venus will be on the wand of Merlin, but just still in Taurus. This is Merlin. Merlin on the wand, on the brainstem, as the finger of God is pointing to the home of the sun, and the sun is in this black earth. In this this is the rose line, this is the Elizabeth line, this is the red rose. And that's why I was going on so much about this winning of, there she is. So obviously bravo, but some of us do see the bigger perspective to the hero complex. The deeper meaning of pad, bad, Ming Ton. So this is Chinese, Ming, pad, bad, Ming Ton. Walter, what does Ming? Ming means emperor, or Ming meaning the dynasty ruling China. There we go. The dynasty ruling China, and we've got now Trump in China. So this girl, Walter, so the stable name of Lord Gruffalo is Walter, and Walter is a German and English masculine given name of Germanic origin, composed of the elements meaning power or ruler and army. So she's called Rose, and Ross is also an important Ross, meaning promontory or headlands. So, you know, it's the heads. Ross, definition and meaning: the rough exterior of a bark. I saw other things the other time. What does the name Ross mean? It leads to some leading heading person, animal or subject. In other languages, Ross meaning something round, the wheel, the drop, the head. So we've got the head of the wheel, we've got the capstone going on. None of the European languages have they pronounce the S. So in German, Das Ross is a very big, very special leading horse. In English, Ross is the same Hebrew root as Rossia, Russia, from the Ross, the 12 Hebrew tribes, and not because after the Assyrian invasion and Babylonian exile, the 10 of the 12 Hebrew tribes left the Jewish kingdom and settled down in different areas of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Okay, so that's very interesting. Okay, and of course we've got this virus, which means fake, scam, which I went over in depth in my 2-week rundown, but we will have a little look at that as well. So, Walter means power or ruler, an army. Ross, Venus in Virgo is in detriment and fall in Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Walter, Mars, and Lord Gruffalo, LG, Liberty Glory, Jack and Rose. Third win for RC, Ross Cantor, Cairo, Charles Rex. So I didn't know Charles Rex was about to make a speech, but this is all part of it. Cairo line, name of the rose, Venus in domicile in Taurus, the mother, the L goddesses. We are shown the child, the mother, the grandmother. Ross is Venus. In Mary, the amygdala. So this is, you know, Venus is there, the amygdala on the brainstem. So Lord Gruffalo, there's Lord Gruffalo, and in the name of the rose, Venus is igniting the mother lamp, the torch, for this new moon. For this new moon. Just put the moon there, as Jupiter is on Lord of the Rings, on the dog, on the unicorn, and Mars is still in the home of Jupiter. So Mars in the home of Jupiter, Jupiter in the home of Mercury, and Mercury soaking up the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon, with the rose igniting your amygdala, Mary Magdalene. and Saturn and Neptune still conjunct with the capstone from the old bill to the epicenter of the whale's tail, the sword in the stone, and making a sextile, semi-sextile to these guys, and then making a trine to Pluto. And so she had to win, and so Giselle Pellicot, so they just show you this little video, which I did show. I'm going to show you again if it decides to open up. Yeah, there's no sound. That's good. So I don't know why they blocked my last video. I'm not sure what I opened. So, you know, it's all extraordinary. It's all extraordinary that this horse, you know, nobody's ever. So there's the mother, and that is G is L. There and there. So she looks a lot sweeter, but they do have exactly the same hair and this rose line look. And then they show you with her child as well. So there are three phases, the three crosses, and of course the cross country, the cross you bear, and there the mother, the child, and the horse, and it's all sponsored by Mars, of course. Mars, Jupiter, and Venus rose. Okay, so that was my 2-week rundown, right? And full moon on the 31st, yeah, and we talk about. So back to this new moon. So look, we've got this sextile between Neptune, Saturn, and Pluto, and then these two inconjunct lines pointing. So this is really the rising now of Merlin, because they're making this sea lion. Why is it a sea lion? It's a sea lion because the true closure is the sun and the moon that ignite Saturn and Saturn. But here we've just got Merlin. We've got Merlin. We've got Jupiter taking the fire of Sagittarius, China. And opposite, we've got Mercury and the moon. And what do we have for this new moon? In Taurus. In Taurus, the true Aleph Tav, the true closure, the true B, which is Leb, Le B. And Le B, it's my old surname, is the 13. It is Hebrew for heart to head connection. So this is making the ginger cat. We've got little Gemini and the moon. And for this new moon, they are together with the sun and Mercury rules Gemini, where Jupiter is. In the twins as Venus, the red rose. Okay. So I've just opened hantavirus. So hanta means a scam, fraud, nonsense, lie, or something fake. Okay, so there we go. And what is important about all this, so we've got, and this is what I go through in my last video, I bring up again for you, and I suppose I'm going to bring it up again. The key words of Pisces energy. So disappear, what disappears, those who disappear, loss, what we lose, secret, mysterious, under wraps, unexplored, unknown, fear, phobias, psyche, psychiatry, psychiatrists, madness, mental institutions, mental diseases, illnesses, hospitals, doctors in the hospital, invisibly be invisible, what is hard to find, drugs, pharmaceuticals. So, you know, this case of Giselle, G is L, is all about her being drugged by all these men while she was sleeping, and being raped, being gang raped by all these men. So, you know, what does that mean? Being gang raped by all these men, that is like the queen bee and all the little worker bees. And it is a way of taking the energy of Venus and Taurus. Venus and Taurus should close with Aries, with Mars. So we've got right now the Sun, Mercury is bees. Honey, Virgo, the opposite sign to Pisces, is the bee. It is the bee, honey, everything to do with bees. And, you know, this is to rise the beast. The beast. The beast is the brainstem. It is, they're talking about dinosaurs all the time at the moment. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is just the lizard, the reptilian brain with rose on top, Beauty and the Beast. So, illnesses, hospitals, doctors in the hospital, invisibly, be invisible, what is hard to find, drugs, pharmaceutical, pharmacy, lonely places on the outskirts, nearby hospitals, prisons, mental hospitals, monasteries, holy places, where have I gone? There I am. There I am. So up, and let's put that down and come back here and open the other page. So what is of religion? Divine character, church, icon, divine, paradise, heavenly, God, contact with God, hotels, hospitality. That's why in Hotel California you can book in any time you want, but you can never leave. Pisces is where you transcend, or you are drowned by the illusion, by the monsters of the id, by viruses that don't exist. Night by night, dream to sleep, to be asleep, bedroom, bad a bed. Have you felt very sleepy? We're all very sleepy. Mars in Pisces, Moon in Pisces, Neptune and Saturn in Pisces. Welcome to my life. Welcome to the 12th house. Mistake by mistake, wrong, erroneous, abyss, chasm, oil, petrol station, gas, petrol, dope, drug addict, drug dealer. So this is all the Las Vegas nerve, the vagus nerve. This is Taurus to Aries, the head, coming through the brainstem, igniting the amygdala, making sure you've got blood running through your amygdala. You're not turned to stone. This new moon is on Medusa. It's on Algol. It's the algorithms. This is the algorithms that will now take over, which to take over from the mother. This is the mother. They're giving you this fake mother. These are these science fiction films where the mother, you have this robot that brings up this child. That is what's happening now. We've got just... people are going, we've got another 15 years almost of Neptune in Pisces, and this was where this was all prepared the last time that Neptune was in Pisces. So I talk about my great-great-grandmother, because she was part of watching all that happen when it was all Lewis Carroll and Tennessee and Juliet Cameron, and they were all preparing the Golden Dawn. The Golden Dawn is... dawn is dusk, golden dusk. That is, we're coming towards the lunar energy. That's not a true solar energy. This is the dark side of the moon, making the black sun. Mercury taking the energy of Taurus. William taking the energy of his mother. His popularity is going to come from his mother, who was sacrificed. She had Venus in Taurus. The mother. Taurus is the mother. Photo, photographer, camera, false, insincerely, forgery, to forge, alias, impersonate, fog, foggy, vaguely, to research, laboratory, science, doctorate, the sea on the sea. That's why this virus had to be on the sea, and just like in World War II, at this very time when Uranus was in the first place, how did they make all that, how did they make everybody go anti-Jew? They used rats, and that's what they're using for this virus. This is a mind virus. It's all in your heads. Drowning, to drown, poison, fish, poisson in French, to be poisoned, to poison someone, godfather at the godfather's, by the godfather, get away, to escape, to run away. So what are they saying about this? The WHO, so the WHO hopes to be able to, so what is the WHO? The WHO is the bullseye, the WHO music. There we go. They show you the bullseye. It's the breast of Venus. The WHO. The breast of Venus. They show you the fixed cross. They show you the breast, the bullseye, and Venus is on the mask, on the bullseye. Well, she's actually now, but for all this hantavirus, it's been Venus going over the bullseye. The mosque, the musk, the musketeer. Okay, where was I? Okay, we were looking at that, yeah. We actually hope to be able to take stock of this subject, hopes to be able to provide an update very soon on the mission to Ushuaia. To Ushuaia? According to the specialist, many details are currently being investigated regarding certain exposures, particularly for the first and second cases, namely the Dutch couple. So Dutch is orange. That's why Princess Diana was called Dutch. Couple who died from hantavirus infection. The WHO is working with colleagues in Argentina. It's the Silvergate, silver, argent, Chile, Uruguay, and around the world, especially with people who have experience with the Andes virus. Okay. So this is all part of this very energy. This is the sea. This is Mars in Pisces, the virus. Mars, the ruler of Aries. So at the moment, we've got the moon in Aries, and we've also got the sun at the moment. Today we're the 15th, so the sun is still in Aries. The sun is now in Taurus. Okay, so the sun is now in Taurus from today. We're in that green line. We're in the mother. This is what's so important, is taking the energy of the mother. Mercury and the sun are completely combust today. So this is it. This is the whole preparation, and it's all about coming up to Prince William's birthday, which I talk about every time. You need to go and see and come and follow us on Patreon, because that is the easiest way for me to keep up with everything. Oops. So we've also got Uranus, Mercury, Sun and the Moon making a square to the South Node and making a square to the North Node. So we've got this true axis of the Babylonian ascendant that was Leo, and now the ascendant that we should be coming on to, North Node in Aquarius, and they are marking this gap, this Vesica Pisces gap before we're fully. So we've got the home of Jupiter, but these guys are crucified. The fixed cross is crucified. Okay, so they crucify the fixed cross. So we've got North Node here, we've got South Node here, and they're making to this new moon. So we've got the new moon right on Algol to be turned to stone, as Venus is on the wand of Merlin. Venus is right on the wand in this Silvergate, Argentina. This is Uruguay. And then we've got China. So we've got Taurus. So this will have moved a little bit. But, you know, it's because the spring equinox is the 21st. But it's still going to be this area, China. And we've got Leo and Virgo. So that as well gives to Mercury the energy of the sun, because Virgo is when she rises above the horizon on the descendant, she rides on the back of the sun, becoming the whore Mary Magdalene, the whore of Babylon. And that is happening between Canada and Russia. Again, your CR, your Cairo, and we have got Mars and Chiron absolutely conjunct, but that Mars is still in Pisces. So this is the energy for the next month. And I will show you a little peek at the first quarter moon. So we've got first quarter moon, 23rd of May. We've still got this finger of God. We're going to have a double finger of God, one pointing to the moon and one pointing to Pluto. And we still have one pointing to, yeah, well, they've still got one pointing to the south node, but now we've got the moon. So for that first quarter, we're going to have the moon in the home of the sun, as the sun and Uranus are completely conjunct in the home of Venus, and Venus will then be moving closer to Jack. She will be on the 23rd. She will be fully in Gemini, the home of Mercury. So Jack and Rose in the home of Mercury as Mercury moves onto the breast of Venus. So the moon is exalted in Taurus. Mercury is in the home of Venus as Venus is in the home of Mercury. So we've got mutual reception, Jupiter soaking it all up, letting Venus and Mercury, Venus in the home of Mercury as Mercury is in the home of Venus on the bullseye, and the moon is in the home of the sun on the feet of Jesus, giving that black sun, the black king, the black sun. So things are going to move very fast now. You know, there's the whole Harry is absolutely where he has to be in America, taking that energy of the true NASA, North America, South America, as the empire is now merging with China. We've got Trump playing that role, merging with China. We've got the monsters of the id. We've got the virus is in your head. And we've got the takeover of the children. You know, Mercury is the children's mind. It's the children. And this beast, this, AI beast where you should be igniting your inner eye is little by little taking over the children. So looking at this first quarter moon again. So now we have got Mars at home in domicile. So Mars is now at home. We're going to be less, things are going to really start moving forward, still conjunct to Chiron. And this capstone, it remains, but we've now got Pluto, or we've got double capstone going on. We've got triple capstone, that's right. We've got 3 capstones going on. One between Moon, Venus and Mars, one between Sun, Uranus, and, you know, this capstone we've had for ages, going to the epicenter of the Wales-Williams telltale, and to Pluto. And then we've got, I've seen a third one. Yeah, the third one, Venus to the North nodes and to Mars. So Mars is making in 3 capstones and 2 double fingers of gods, and still the Sun and Uranus making a square now to the Moon and South node and to North Node in. So that is quite an incredible chart. And I have pulled cards for all that. It's open to the public. Please go and see my rundown. But I will just show you this full moon. So this is going to be on the 31st. So he does his King's speech on the 13th. And then we've got this very important full moon on the 31st of May. 31st of May, we have got the moon in full in Scorpio, and it's going to be right on Antares as the sun is right on Aldebaran, the bullseye, and Mercury will be on the wand of Merlin, the Merlion. So this Prince William is born with Sun, Moon, Mercury, and North Node on the wand of Merlin in the year of the dog. And this is, we've got Mercury right. So, all the big events, 9/11, we had a lot going on here. Look, 2001, and also for the death of Diana, 9/11, we had the moon on the wand, we had Jupiter on Sirius, and we had Saturn on. So that's, and then for the death of Diana, death of the Diana on the 31st. No, it was the 8th. That's why it was the 8th. So we had Mars on the bullseye. No, it's not 2007, it's 1997. 8:31. No, the big thing about that was the moon was moving between the lunar and the solar pillar for her death. Just coming up to give, again, to give the sun, the moon, the black sun. And Venus was in Virgo, as Venus will. Venus is going to do a retrograde over Spica this September. Did she do one then too? No, she didn't. And then, so back to this full moon, we're going to have the moon in Scorpio, and the moon in Scorpio is always the egg. It is the egg, and that's another thing I'm going to show you right now. So the moon in Scorpio was exactly what we had for Chernobyl, the nuclear bomb, and also for D-Day, which is what I cover in my two-part videos. I go into detail about D-Day and the moon in this fertility, the death. This is really where the eagle should rise again. And I went into town. I go once a year into town. And I saw, so this man who is a politician, a famous politician in France, who is born in Vic-Fezensac, which is a local town, which is all about killing the bull. And, the fez is the Moroccan hats. Vic in Fezensac. I'm pretty sure that he comes from Vic en Fezensac. Nicolas Dupont-Aignan. Nicolas Dupont-Aignan, Vic Fez, yeah, pretty sure. Nicolas Dupont-Aignan, né. Here we go, Vic results. Haute fonctionnaire. Okay, so he's born in 1961. That was the last Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in Sagittarius before returning to Earth. Okay, I'm not sure if I thought he came from, I think he does. I think that he was brought up near here. Anyway, this book has just come out, Liberté ou la mort. Okay, so this is the 777. I've got the pictures, it will show you. So Nicolas means victory, Dupont is the bridge, and Aignan is the egg of Inanna. So Nicolas, I've got all the pictures here, you'll see. So here's the eagle rising, here's Ishtar, Inanna, it's our village. Ishtar, the star of Inanna. And then you've got this book, Liber. This is Liber. This is Aleister Crowley, 777. This is liberty, equality, fraternité, or death. So you either ignite or, you're not able to see through the illusion. You can't get through. So this book, La liberté ou la mort, La liberté ou la mort, sortie, date, it came out the 22nd of April, so the day that the sun enters Aries, just after the death of William Wilcock. So the book came out as the moon was in Leo, Mercury, is this right, 2026? No, April. Okay, so the moon was with Jupiter. We had Venus and Uranus conjunct, and we have the sun just entered into Aries, and we had Mars, Mercury all here. Right, so that book has just come out. Am I recording? Yes. So I just add these pictures. So I've been into detail about this cock. It's been all over the front page. So this is our village. This means Iran, means Jesus, the Israel son. The INRA is INRI, meaning Jesus the Nazarene, King of the Jews. Okay, so this is Prince William rising the cock. This is the cock, the golden cock. He can't fly. This is why this full moon in Scorpio is so important, because that is the egg. When the moon is in Scorpio, that is the egg. She should rise again. So 33, we've got Jupiter and Venus exactly 33 degrees apart. The Caladrius, also known as the Calandre or Calad, is a legendary and mythical bird from the Middle Ages, frequently featured in bestiaries where it is described as being the size of a raven or a heron and possessing great healing powers. According to legend, any sick person whom the Caladrius gazed upon was destined to live, while those from whom it averted its gaze were condemned to die, liberty or death. So you either ignite or you cannot become a self-regenerative healer. That's what Scorpio is. It's regeneration, it's renewal. Similarly, the Caladarius represents Christ, purity, and the Virgin Mary. Pisces, Virgo axis, we're in that gap, 311, 911, between Virgo and Leo, and between Pisces and Aquarius. This is the gap. So there she is. And this is, again, this is the second time they put the cock on the front page. They keep putting the cock. The Chant du Coq is what? It's 3-3. And we've got this 33 degrees between Venus and Jupiter from the 10th of May to June, the end of June. So Scorpio, so this is him, Nicolas Dupont-Aignan. I mean, what a name. So here's Aignan, the 5-pointed star, the MM, our postcode. So the eagle fell in the Aztec in Mexico. Now it's gone all the way under the horizon, and it should rise again in our village. That is why we have the hatchery, and that is why on 777, the 14th of July, they created a 4.8 million robots to kill the female egg before it hatches. Could be the male egg. but it's to kill one of the eggs. So 777, and there is the Vesica Pisces. This is liber, and that's what liberty or death. You either come through, you ignite, and there you have liberté, égalité, fraternité, ou la mort. And this is where we're at, the Alpha Omega. This is the Abbé Pierre. What's the Abbé? It's the abbé. It's the abbé. It's the B. A B in French is an abbé. The abbé, the Alpha Omega, the ab. The ab. So that's what we've got. Paddington, Baddington, bad. So bad. B is 2. A is 1. And D is 4. And that is the 14th of February is Valentine's Day. That's Lupercalia. That is when they kill. The sun enters into Aquarius on the 16th, 216. Yet they're rising in the Silver Gate on the Wand of Merlin. The 21st of the 6th is not the true 216. The true 216 is the 16th of February, and they have their bad, you're bad. Michael Jackson sings Bads, which is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is Valentine and Cupid, Sagittarius and Mercury. Sagittarius and Mercury. Sagittarius, yellow fire, and Mercury in Gemini. They've put themselves up there on each side of Cancer and Capricorn, taking the female energy, the cardinal Capricorn and Cancer, the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer. And that's why David Icke is always talking about the Saturn and Moon matrix, so that Jupiter and Mercury can play the heroes and take that female energy, which is the private realm, your home. It's what Prince William is coming to take, to give everybody home, to look after the homeless. This is Saint Martin de Tours. And Saturn, Bill Gates. That's why you had William and Bill Gates when he was given his red cape, that I show you the picture all the time. So this is the book written in my village by J. William Hudson. So J is the constellation of Scorpio. What does Hudson mean again? Hudson meaning son of a Hugh, son of a Hud, a patronymic boy's name. Son of Hud or son of a Hugh. Referred to those who made hoods for a living, the hoodies. Okay. So in the lovely old land of Gascony, home of the hot-headed and stalwart race of D'Artagnan and Cyrano, unfolds a story of arresting charm that delves deep into the roots of human nature and finds those common faiths which knit mankind together. Abbé Pierre, Sword in the Stone, Epstein, views life from the vantage point of kindly age and in the flowering of love between enchanting Germain, Sant. So Germain is the third 2 earth cards. Germain, element 32. So germanium, this is the Germans, germanium. It's the number 32. And she's the lead girl. 32 Earth Tarot images. Earth World cards. So there is one very good image where you can really see this one. 32 paths of wisdom. We're coming back to Earth. This is the Aleph Tav. This is the Yesod to the Malkuth. And this is the 32, which is Germain, Germanium. And this is why this girl's called Germain. And the young American David War, so that's DW, like David Wilcock. He follows the rich happiness of young love, striving through crowding difficulties to the fullest measure of attainment, merging America with our tiny weeny village, the apple, the epicenter, the 13th Caniel, and they had this speech on the 13th, and he's called J. William Hudson. This book was written in 1924, and then we've got Nicolas Bully, and this is just the same thing. This is Nicolas, victory, Bully, Nicolas meaning in the 101 card, so victory to the people, victory of the people. It's the Nike, the victory. That's why they decapitated the Nike. And she had to die in the water, and she went missing when Mars was on Aldebaran. That's when I was in the floods in New Zealand. So Ishtar, Easter, that's why my dog Appy was killed on Easter Day. So the egg, this is all about the egg, Nicolas. So the cosmic egg, it's the 101, Nicolas. So they killed the girl and they're rising this politician, Nicolas. So there they show you the Vesica Pisces, they show you the passage through. What does Nicolas mean? It means victory to the people. These are the people of the Abbé Pierre, mixing of France and America. That's why we've got Buffalo, we've got Carchette City, the rodeo, and we've got buffaloes, we've got all the cowboys. The cowboys kill the Indians. So the Aleph Taz, Jesus, this is the true closure of Aries and Taurus. And this is what we've got right now. This is the moment of the passage. Let's come back to now. As I speak, we've got Moon, we're going to have Mars. So we've got the Sun and Mercury in Aries and Venus in Taurus. Alpha, Omega, Aleph, Tav, same thing. It's the true closure. So the Alanema, the Anki, the origin of spring festival, Easter, goddess Ishtar, Isis, Inanna, Anita, Shita, Bhumi, Aphrodite, it's Venus. It's Venus. And that my village is that all we've got that many roads coming out from the center. Early civilization and spring festival. And then, of course, we've got Elizabeth Bourne, which is the Eliza Macbeth line. It's Lisbon, Portugal. Portugal is the pot, the door to the Gaul, to the Gaulois, to the Gaulois. And in England, there was Liz Truss. This is the Elizabeth line. And so we have Ross Cantor. So that was, I did all that. That was the day I was away, and I was showing Venus was on the rose, Nicolas. So victory to the people. And this is about the cosmic egg. So Nicolas, the bridge to the egg of Inanna. And we have, for this full moon on the 31st, we have the sun right on the bullseye. And we've got the moon right on Antares. So we can look at that to end. So Mars is making a square to Pluto. We only have Pluto retrogrades. We've got, so the moon is in full because the moon is exalted in Taurus, so in full. And the moon is working with Jupiter, who's nearly in Cancer. He will enter Cancer for the solstice, just before, I think, and we're coming up to that now. We're right coming up to it. The moon or Jupiter rather, we're looking at. Jupiter will enter Cancer. Oh my God, it really is bingo on Prince William's birthday. And then Mercury does his retrogrades just around Sirius. and then Mars will be on the wand of Merlin. Okay, so we've still got, we've still got the finger of God pointing to Merlin, and that capstone is standing alone there now. We've still got Uranus making a square to South Node and North Node. Do we have a double finger of God going on somewhere? No. Mercury is now in domicile. This is everything has been building up for him coming back to domicile. We've got Jack and Rose and Peter Pan all in Gemini. So we've got Mars at home, Mercury at home. And, you know, this is all about rising Merlin. This is really about rising Merlin and the sun in the home of Venus, as Venus is right. Let's go back to that full moon. So Mercury will be right on the wand. So we'll just still be in Taurus. So for that full moon, Mercury is actually going to be in Taurus. So that is very interesting, because that means that that is the home of Venus. Mercury is in the home of Venus, and Venus in the home of Mercury. And Mercury is taking that black energy of Taurus as the sun is on the bullseye and the moon is in full in Scorpio, ruled by Mars, as Mars is at home on the head. So the sun is normally exalted here in Aries, and this is giving this energy, this black sun energy again, to the finger of God pointing to South Node in Leo. Okay, darlings, so I'm going to leave you with that. I have put up a post. I think I put it on YouTube as well. I've now got 3 webinars available. I've got the one I did in September that actually was not even, nobody could buy it. So I've just fixed that. It was put for just one sale. So now I fixed that. You can just go to my sites and you can see that. And then on Patreon, you've got part 1, 2, and 3 of the last webinar I did. And then you've got my old full beginner astrology course, 30 hours, which is also available. So I'll add all that so you can see. Come for readings, and I love you all very much, and happy new moon. It's, you know, you can go to Patreon and you will see that my 2-week rundown is open to the public, and I also do full tarot for each new moon, first quarter, and full moon. So go and have a look at all that. Come and join us on Patreon. I have a lovely guest, Lily Brunton, coming tomorrow to talk on the full moon, on the new moon. And yeah, I've got Paul Tisdale, an alchemist, coming next week as well. And we're also going to be doing decoding newspapers every month. So that's coming up in the next 10 days as well. Okay, my darlings, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you for readings. Bye for now.